What's up, everyone? Dr. D here, bringing you another episode of DDR for Dummies, Dr. D's Tips and Tricks, and you get sweaty Dr. D today because I just finished playing myself. And I find out that usually when I'm playing, I'm starting to get ideas to share, so probably going to be recording these a lot after I finish playing, so yeah, better get used to looking at me sweating. So today's topic, I just want to talk about how to make the most out of your failed attempts at songs. So, hold on a second. I remember there's another thing I was going to talk about. If it comes to mind, I'll come up with it later. But for now, how to make the most out of your failed attempts. And by a failed attempt, I mean that you're playing a song and you're going for a score, and then something happens and you're not going to get it. Maybe it's early on, maybe it's in the middle, maybe it's even at the end. But whatever happens, you're going for it, and then you choke, and it's basically a throwaway run. Now, there's lots of things that people do with a throwaway run, and I'm going to give you the best advice that I can to capitalize on it. And I'm going to stress that you should do what I say and not as I do, because a lot of you, if you watch me, you'll find out that whenever I'm missing a score, I'll just like fail out of it using risky 1 or risky 4. And I'm not saying that you should do that. In fact, I probably shouldn't do that myself. So who knows? Maybe if you listen to my advice, you'll end up being better than me because of it. Just do as I say, not as I do, okay? So you're going for the score you want. Maybe it's a PFC, an MFC, a AAA, a full combo, whatever it is, and you miss it. You know you're not going to meet your target. So what do you do with the rest of the song? Well, some people get lazy, some people fail out, some people just half-ass it, some people just bracket it just to get by so that they can make it to the next stage, yada yada yada. And by the way, if you are curious why I usually fail on my songs, it comes mostly down to a time thing. Especially if you're playing at the arcade, you gotta do a time versus money analysis, like, is this time save worth it? For me, I'm usually just trying to save time because I have a goal, and if I don't meet my goal, I just want to move on and try again. And then I'd rather spend the money to save the time because I don't want to go into a huge tangent, but it takes me a long travel time to get to the arcade. I only have a finite amount of time at the arcade, and if I know I'm capable of doing something and I'm not getting it that time, I'm going to throw it away and try it again because my time is limited. My money is also limited, but I feel that my time is more valuable in those situations. Alright, back to what you can do. Hopefully your time isn't as limited as mine, and you can make the most out of a failed run. So you didn't get the score, so what should you do? You should keep playing. But not only should you keep playing, well, there's many things you can do. You can either try, say like you miss the score, but see if you can, from that point on, get what you want to get. This is what I usually do when I am doing this strategy. If I'm, say, going for a PFC on a hard song, if I screw up, I get a great. What I will do, especially on DDRA and all the newer DDR mixes, I will purposely break combo. And then I will start the new combo with all perfects or marvelous so that I have a yellow combo going. And then I make it a goal. Alright, let's see if you can get a perfect full combo from now until the end. So make that your goal. If it's a full combo, see if you can full combo from this point until the end. If you're trying to MFC, be like, okay, I screwed up the MFC, but you know what? I'm going to break the combo now, and I'm going to start a new MFC chain, and I'm going to see if I can marvelous out. I use that term as in you get marvelouses from the point until the end. So try to marvelous out. Try to perfect out. Try to full combo out. Try to make the most of it when you have a failed run. See if from that point on, when you screwed up, you're able to get the rest of it. Because if you are, and generally you are, because from a different tip video I mentioned that whenever we screw up early on, it always seems like the rest of the song we have no problem doing. It's just, yeah, that's just how it works. So get used to it, get comfortable, and then next time when you play, if you didn't screw up that part you did before, you know you're at least capable of getting the ending, and that should hopefully calm your nerves and help you achieve whatever score you are going for. Alright, that's tip number 1 for capitalizing on a failed run. Another tip that I use, and this is extremely important, if you messed up, too long of a pause, what was I going to say? Okay, if you didn't get the score you're going to get, try something else. Try a different way. Experiment. That's the word I wanted. Experiment for the rest. For example, perhaps you always have a certain way of doing a part. Maybe it's awkward for you. Maybe it's a double step. Like you know you can cross over there, but you never and wanted to learn it because it's a little complicated and you usually get it by double stepping. Okay, how about this time? Try to do the crossover. Maybe sometimes you play a song and there's a up arrow that starts and you hit it with your left foot, but you know it's always ending up in an awkward position that you got to do a double step. Try it with your right foot next time. And especially, maybe, and this is a whole different topic, I'm going to talk about it later, but maybe, for example, there's an upright jump in there, especially if it's in between like 8th notes or even a 16th note, you know, looking at you, AM3P Chaos Special. But maybe there's an upright jump. Try hitting it with one foot. Take more risks, is my point. Take some risks. Because perhaps something that you consider a risk could pay off in the future. If you can practice a skill during a failed run, maybe you want to try stepping closer into the panels. Maybe you think that you step way too wide, because that's another tip. You shouldn't be stepping too wide out into the panels. So how about for the rest of the song, you see if you can still maintain the combo by stepping as inside as possible while still registering the steps. And as I was saying, if it's an upright jump, try hitting it with one foot. Try hitting it with your right foot. If it's an up left jump, try hitting it with your left foot. Practice new techniques. Practice foot switching. Practice jacks with 2 feet if it applies. Even if there's a triple right, like a 1, 2, 3 right, throw your both feet and try to do it. Just like I do in like da 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 challenge. I always use 2 feet on one arrow to get those. Watch my videos to see how I do that. There's even other songs like Paranoia Evolution Challenge X Special. That's a really good song to practice. Basically every one of those like jacks, you could do it with 2 feet on the same arrow. So if there's any patterns like that in your song, try to capitalize on that. Try to practice using a different technique that you're not used to. Especially if you know that pros use that technique, and you know that that technique has some advantages down the line. So even if it's a throwaway run on some easy 13 or even 11, I don't care what it is, try an advanced technique to get those. Minimize your foot movement. If you're doing jumps, minimize your jump height. If the jumps are on corners, always try to use your one foot to hit those. Get comfortable doing that. If you're double stepping, try the crossover way. Just keep trying things that you normally would not have done, but because this run is a throwaway, you have the freedom to experiment. And experimenting now is a perfect time because you feel like you're not wasting time. Yeah, you missed what you're going for, but that doesn't mean it's over. It just means, okay, what am I trying to work on? Let's see if I can throw that in here. Maybe you're trying to ghost step. Maybe you're trying to throw in extra steps. Maybe the song is easy and you want to make it more challenging. Throw in some 16ths. If it's just 8th notes, throw in a 16th note. Is it a left, right, 8th note? Make it a crossover. Make it a left 16th note down and then a right. Make it a crossover. Make it more challenging. And then when you try it again, maybe you'll get the score, maybe you won't, and then you can do this again. But by doing this, you're ensuring that you're maximizing the time that would have just been a time that you would have just moved on. So by making sure that you're doing something with your run that you failed, you're going to end up improving overall in the long run. Maybe you don't get the score you want next time, but if you repeatedly do this technique, you will start to notice that techniques that you were practicing during the failed runs, they're going to come in handy later. So that's my main tips for taking advantage of failed runs. It's a really important tip. I really do use it, especially in the past. I always use it, especially for harder songs. I know a lot of you are commenting that you want to know more about harder songs. Well, hey, this is definitely the kind of tip that helps you for harder songs, because you can practice techniques for harder songs that you might normally not want to do. Try conserving energy. Try different ways to do the same things that you've done before that'll help you out. Alright, keep all this in mind, and I promise you, you will see improvements even on failed runs. And with that, we're keeping this talk under 10 minutes. Yes. And I'll see you guys all on the next DDR for Dummies, Dr. D's tips and tricks. Thanks for watching. Join my Discord and see you next time. Peace.